Wow, why is it taking you so long to prepare to live stream? Oh, can you hear that?
Hear what? To send off and then back on.
Ah, okay. Wow, it's taking a while.
It does that. But that's not.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Verb.
No.
The ad say verb. Who's sponsoring today?
Let me just check that.
Try refreshing your browser or restarting your computer.
No, that's not us. Don't worry about that. Just go to your own stream.
Oh, okay. There we go. Yay, we're live. Say hello to our YouTube viewers. Hello, everybody.
Hi, YouTube viewers.
Oh, no, we can't hear him. Kayode, why can't we hear him?
Onome, can you hear us?
Loud and clear. Yes.
Oh, whew. Oh, there's really something about technology.
Hi, this is Michelle Diddy.
Oh, I
Keep
love
listening
Michelle
to
Diddy.
Smooth 98.1.
I know she's here once.
Question of the day. Why do good girls go for bad boys?
Come on.
I'm very comfortable with their badness. Hey, gorgeous, can I buy you a drink? And good guys are not.
You know what I don't like about myself, bro? I'll like practice and practice and I'll get it right. And then right when I'm supposed to, boom. You'll just hear Onome, and you'll be like, what? People, this is what happens before we go live on air at Smooth 98.1. Okay, we are in. Oh.
Business Express, brought to you by Etisphere Transaction Solutions.
All right, Onome, we're going in.
Okay.
All right, and here we are. It is gone past that 6:30 hour, and it is time for Business Express for a Monday morning. I'm Shepa Martins, and I am joined in the studio by my guest, Onome Ohovoriole, who is an analyst with Money Africa. Onome, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Sope. Good morning, Lagos, and the rest of you.
Great to have you on with us today. And of course, great to have you as well, because we want your questions. We are going to be discussing a range of topics. So you can send your messages in on WhatsApp to 0809 444 981. We are also streaming live up on YouTube right now. So go over to youtube.com/smooth981FM so that you can see the faces that are related to the voices. All right. So Onome, starting off, a lot has been happening. So I guess the first question we're going to talk about is this Dangote refinery, right? So what do you make of the AFDB president's comments? Is this refinery really a game changer?
I mean, it depends on the perspective you look at it from. So if you're looking at it from the broader picture, yes, Nigeria is going to be exporting refined products. The company at some point in time, maybe if not in the immediate time, near future, will pay taxes. But for the everyday person on the street, it's not going to change much in terms of price. And that's because the refinery was built with a lot of foreign funding that's denominated in dollars. And I doubt the federal government would be able to subsidize the crude oil to the extent that you're going to be able to maintain the current prices that we have. So for the everyday person, it's not going to change.
It's not going to change that much.
It's not nice news, but that's the reality.
So wait, no game changer?
For you and I, no, but
no.
For
well.
Nigeria as a country, and yes.
And then maybe later on, it trickles down. No?
I mean,
you do not look very
yes,
optimistic
it will
this morning.
down. I mean, it will trickle down in terms of, yes, you're going to have employment. Yes, you're going to have skills passed on and all that. But I think, for the everyday person, they would like to know what's coming to my pocket. And, you're not going to see significant change in what you spend on petrol. So, from that angle,
your hopes on this?
No.
Okay. Oh, well, okay. Now, Dangote said that the refinery should come on stream by the third quarter of this year. Is that going to be the highlight of 2022?
I don't think it will be the highlights of 2022. And I'm not very, I mean, we've had several deadlines, and I think that's normal with a project of this magnitude. So I'd rather wait till Q3 2022 and then see what happens. But even at that, it's not going to change much domestic, really. And so, I mean, all well and good. I mean, that happens, but I'm not having my hopes raised by that deadline.
Okay, all right. Okay, so now let's move on to the CBN. It's supposed to be set to introduce electronic invoicing for trade documents. What do you make of all of that? Give us a rundown.
I mean, I think it's a great move, really, because for one, we're going to have less paperwork. And, if you've ever done any kind of trade financing or provision, at the very last mile, you see that you still have to do a lot of paperwork moving from one desk to another. And I mean, sometimes for the most random of reasons. So I guess one is going to eliminate that physical paperwork. Two, I think that helps with accountability as well. Well, on
mysterious
a
fires.
broader picture, yes.
I said no more mysterious fires, because that's the problem with paper. It burns. Gets eaten up by mites.
I mean, on the mischievous notes, I guess the mischief will be easier now. So all you need to do is say maybe the internet is down. No network.
Wow, yeah, I didn't even think of that, but that's true.
But it does help. It does help with accountability. It does help with less paperwork. So it's a good thing to see. I mean, I think some of these things aren't rocket science. We should have done them decades ago. But it's better late than ever.
Oh, okay. We've got messages coming in. Joel says, will the federal government buy the refined crude in dollars?
Crude oil is denominated dollars. And two is that crude oil is a key source of export revenue generally for the government. So if you want cheap petrol from that refinery, government is going to have to give him a discount in some way. Going to have to give him a discount in terms of crude oil. And I did some rough numbers. A barrel of petrol should be around 150, 159 liters of petrol. Currently, Nigeria is doing about 72 million liters of petrol in terms of our consumption. I mean, some of that finds its way across the West African region. But even if we're to assume that comes to around maybe from, depending on the number, 400k to 700k barrels per day. I don't think the government is going to give a large discount on that amount, because that's a significant amount. So we're going to have to work some other thing out, but no, we're not getting that anytime soon. Because the government is broke, really. So there's a limit to how much discounts we get.
Wow, you just put that out there. Okay. All right. Moving on, we've got more messages up on WhatsApp 0809 444 981 to send yours in. Benga Kamu has a couple saying trickle down in Nigeria, where the rulers use their tongues to lick the bottom of the pot, leaving nothing. Wow, Benga. Wow, thank you for that visual. And he also says, so the Minister of State for Petroleum says they are not removing subsidies soon. The political cost would be too much for the APC to bear, says Benga Akamu. All right, moving on. I've got more questions for you, Onome. So the Monetary Policy Committee meeting starts off today. What are they going to be considering? What's on the agenda?
Okay, so the committee has a meeting every quarter, and they get to fix interest rates, get key policies for banks and all that. Now, and interestingly, this meeting comes up for that of the US Fed. So what everybody's going to be wondering in Nigeria is, are we going to see rates going up? I think eventually we would see rates going up. But the figure itself, the monetary policy figure itself, is largely a symbolic figure these days. But I think broadly, why people still tune into the NPC meeting, just to get the feel of the mind of what the CBDN governor's thoughts on the economy and other aspects of the economy. So I'm not expecting any surprises in this meeting, but Nigeria is an interesting place. So prepare for the unexpected.
All right. Now, speaking about surprises, looking at tomorrow, are we gonna can we expect any surprise decisions tomorrow in terms of the benchmark interest rate?
Um, I don't think so. I think maybe later in the year, maybe sometime in March or April, we'll see that at the next meeting. So for now, no. What I suspect we'll get to hear about if any policies for the banking space, policies around lending, because what CBN has done a lot of attention. So I have a feel that we're going to see a bit more this year and all that. So that's where I think we're going to get news from.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now moving on to stocks. Nigeria's stock market was positive 4 out of 5 days last week. So pass mark. What were the triggers? What was going on?
We saw significant prices of two key stocks on the exchange hit highs last week. That was Dangote Cement and Airtel Africa. And so think of the exchange as a cake, right? So think of it as a basket. And those two key stocks are one of the heavy items in the basket. So when they go up, it means that the basket becomes heavier. And so the basket becoming heavier means index going up, just using an analogy. So, but it's a good start to the year. I'm sure that some of those gains will be toned down as the year goes by because we're in a pre-election year. So it's typically a rocky year for stocks in Nigeria, but it's a good start. And I think for anyone who's in those stocks, and particularly for those who play short term, then it's good news for them. Yeah.
All right. And let me ask you this week. I mean, we're just starting off the week. What are you expecting to see from the markets this week?
Okay, so on the global scene, it was bloody last week in terms of stock prices in the US. It's bloody in terms of the crypto space. So I expect that same rocky, rough market this week.
Oh boy.
On the Nigerian end, I think it's a pretty tame week, but we may see numbers coming in from Guinness, Nigeria, and MTN, and those numbers should be good. So I expect that they would lift the market. Unfortunately, the results probably will come in Thursday, Friday. But I think it's going to be a fairly good week for us in Nigeria. But the global scene is rough. I mean, we had news of the strike was in Abu Dhabi this morning or early hours of yesterday. So it's going to be rough and tumble on the global end, but quite chill in Nigeria this week.
All right. And then just looking at the year ahead, what are your, looking at the markets, what are kind of your hopes, or do you have any positive outlooks for the year, for 2022?
That's a difficult one, really. I would say that it's tough, really. It's a rough year because globally we're going to see countries unwind with stimulus. That's going to happen in the US. You're going to see interest rates go up. So once that happens, that has a ripple effect on Nigeria. But I would say the only positive thing I might see this year is maybe from a market's perspective, we started on a good note. We got Bar Foods listing early this year. So we might see a couple of other big names listing in the Nigerian market. And I guess that's good as well. And so but on that angle, from a larger angle, it's still cold out here, like the song says. You have high inflation, you have insecurity that's becoming an issue. The sword of Damocles that foreign subsidy thing has been shifted for now. But the reality is the country is broke. So if we're kicking this to 2024, we can't dodge these issues. Well, on the plus side, I think that we might see, and depending on what side kind of an investor you are, we might see interest rates go up slightly. And so for those who are holding maybe treasury bills or bonds, you should get slightly better returns this year. So I guess that's the plus angle to see. And hopefully, I don't expect the stock market to do well as it did last year, but if it turns out positive, then pockets of outperformance in several sectors, and we could. Yeah.
All right then. Okay, Onome, thank you so much for joining me for today's Business Express. People, you have been listening to Onome Ohoborole, who's an analyst with Money Africa. Thank you so much, and we'll be seeing you again on Business Express. All right. And
Yes, thank you for having me. Goodbye, Lagos. Goodbye, rest of the world.
all right, goodbye. And coming up, we have got great music coming your way as we count down to 7:30, where Freshly Pressed comes. Stick with us right here on Smooth 98.1.
Business Express, brought to you by Enter
Bye.
Transaction Solutions.